Okay, here we go. This is lesson 1 of how to draw a Shelby Daytona Coupe. And it took me a little while to find the car today that I wanted to do. I had several candidates, but I thought this one was, of them, the best one. It's a really pretty car. It's one of my favorite race cars of all time. And my drawings aren't always as elaborate as the sketches that are underneath them. I took quite a bit of time drawing this one, so it's going to hopefully turn into a really nice drawing, but the sketch underneath is quite involved this time, far more so than most of them that I do. Anyway, this car has a really great history. Shelby and his Cobras were doing very well in sports car racing, but they were having a problem with the Ferraris in the long distance and high-speed tracks because the Cobras had a problem. No matter how much horsepower you put in them, they didn't really want to go more than about 175 miles an hour. The body design was kind of dated and not as aerodynamic as it could have been. Good looking, but it wasn't very aerodynamic. So they lost out to the really sleek Ferraris in the high-speed tracks like Daytona, Sebring, Le Mans, things like that. And they just weren't competitive with them on those courses. And that puts them at a serious disadvantage in trying to win the sports car championship. So Carroll Shelby had a guy named Pete Brock on the team and asked him to design a car, and he did. And this is what it was. It was came to be known as the Shelby Daytona Coupe. And what they did was it was made for Daytona because the high-speed banking, it was a really fast course. So these things, when they would go as fast as they would go, they picked up a considerable amount of speed, which then made them competitive on the longer tracks in the endurance races. And so they were able to take the fight to Ferrari and win races. So it worked out just great. Normally, the international body that controls car racing would have classed this as a whole new car. And if they had done that, Shelby would have had to make a certain number of them in order to make them legal to race. But in this case, he just convinced the people who were the regulators that what he was really doing was just putting for safety reasons, he was putting a top on it, and they changed everything in this car. They changed the framework, and they made the car stiffer, and the aerodynamics, of course, were a lot better, and just everything about the car got really changed, and it was just so obvious that they had made some major changes to the thing because it was competitive right out of the box. But sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose, and Ferrari in this case kind of lost. Okay, you can see we started like we always do with this. When we start one of these drawings, we always start with the darker areas, or not necessarily the darkest areas, but darker areas in the car so that we have some way of knowing where we're going with lights and darks. And I just start marking out the areas that will not be light. And when I do that, then that gives me a way to go against it to not get too crazy with the lights so that they overpower the darks. So that's what we're doing here, is we're doing the shadow under the car, the shadow in the grille, the shadow that's inside the wheels, and the wheel wells too around the tires. Okay, we're just about done for today. It's kind of a short one, but I just wanted to show you the beginnings of it. If you'll come back tomorrow, we're going to be doing a lot more on the body and the shadowing underneath it. I hope to see you then. Thank you very much. Bye.